Hey everyone, Alex and Rocky here again. And today we want to give you some information about what we do in terms of investor relations, how we've done it, how long we've been doing it. And I am just so excited to see what Rocky has in store for us.
Yeah. Yeah, because we've been talking about, how to start investing. We're getting into the details, right? But we never really talked about Zephyr Equity Group yet, right? So today, the first question that I have for you is, what's the story of Zephyr Equity? How did it start?
We started off by being, Helen and I, my wife, started off as being limited partners. And as a limited partner, you learn about the investment as an investor, not as an operator, right? And as we invested, friends started telling us, like, hey, or asking us really, hey, what are you guys doing? We start posting about it, telling them about it. And eventually we start sharing so much and they say, "Hey, do you know what's the next deal coming on? Do you know what's the next deal coming on?" And before we would just say, "Oh yeah, just go to this website and they got deals." And then they'll say, "Well, which deal do you invest in?" Right? And we'll just tell them to go visit the website, call the operators and figure it out. Then they end up asking us questions again. They'll call the operator, ask them some questions, and come back to us, be like, "Hey, so what's your experience in it?" Da 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 da. So we eventually said, people are asking us different questions about what they're doing, why they should be doing it. They're asking us about what we're doing as well. So I said, why don't we figure out what people are doing on the general partner side instead of just the limited partner, and then we can actually bring people on to invest with us and legitimately have people join our groups and portals and everything. So from then on, whenever we have deals, we would share to our friends and family about multifamily and what it does. We'll start educating them. We'll send them to, hey, join, check out this webinar, right? And that's how it got started. It really got started from us wanting to help our friends and family, and then eventually it became its own thing.
How long have you been, you know, actively investing in the real estate?
Oh, I started in 2018. So 2018, 19, 20, 21, 22. So this is 5 years in now that we've been investing. It's been a journey, because you start off as a limited partner and eventually you have joint ventures. We are where you are actually partners in the deal, right? And then now we are general partners, which means that we are part of the operations group that deals directly with the apartment complexes and deal with the office managers, the property management groups, working with contractors and actually, having a voice and having a say in what happens. And it makes me feel so much better that not necessarily just better, but having some control and telling our investors exactly what's going on the inside, right? Letting them know what's happening, updating them. That's pretty exciting.
Right. And what specific locations do you invest in?
Well, so far we have done a lot in the South and the Southeast, like the Texas, Atlanta, Florida. That's where a lot of the complexes are. But on the JV, which is the joint venture side, where we do only partnerships, no investors, it's me and other partners. We've worked on places in Indiana, Cincinnati, right, Illinois. There's multiple different places that we've done investments in.
There's a lot. And I'm sure that a lot of our viewers are asking, you already answered this in our previous podcast, but do you put your own money into these investments, or do you just ask people to, jump in?
Well, I believe that in order for people to trust us and what we do, if I'm going to tell you to invest, I better be investing in it myself. So instead of just saying, "Hey, Rocky, come, put some money in the deal," right? I would say, "Hey, we're managing this deal. We're doing marketing. This is what we're doing. We're investing in the deal ourselves. And if you're interested, just come invest with us." It's no pressure because it's no surprise that the stock market has been fluctuating like crazy over the last couple of days, right? And it seems like people want to have their money in something that's tangible, something that's more stable, right? It's not going to just fluctuate back and forth like Bitcoin, right? Something that they can see that we have some control over. We're not just blindly picking places to invest.
Of course. And for Zephyr Equity, do you have specific strategies on, how you acquire properties?
Absolutely. I mean, we're looking at not only the location and the amount of population that's there, but we have to make sure that there are growing number of people, but more importantly, the growing number of jobs coming into the area. We take a look at the whole metro area, the suburbs, the secondary, tertiary markets, and taking a look at who's moving in to those areas. Companies that are moving in is, Amazon moving in, is SpaceX or Tesla moving to the area. This Toyota starting something new, AT&T, right? Exxon Mobil. So we have to look at what big companies are going in, making sure that the homes around there are safe as well. The apartments on there, we're not like what they call a war zone, you know, where there's like gangbangers and like drive-by shootings all over the place. We want to make sure we're able to provide clean, safe places for families to live in, right? And once people, we pick the place, we find out that it's good. The strategy is to go in. Usually, there's one of two things: either they haven't um, managed it correctly or the rents aren't managed correctly. And usually the rents aren't managed correctly because the property isn't managed correctly. If you're not cutting the grass, right? If you're not having a dog park or the amenities for people, if your pool's always dirty, the sidewalks never swept, right? You have a terrible clubhouse, the gyms, all the equipment's broken or half used. Well, you're not going to feel right raising rents because you can't, right? So some of these are ran by just really mom and pop, you know, or they might be handed down from one generation to the next, and the next generation really don't want to deal with it. So I said, it's okay if you don't want to deal with it. What do you want to sell it for? We'll purchase it. What we'll do is we'll fix up the property and we'll initiate something called a utilities rubs also as well that gets charged to different property, different apartment complexes because it's not fair. A lot of times it's not fair. Say if someone uses electricity only during the day, right? And or at in the evening because they work, and then you got someone next door that's using electricity, gas, and water all day long, and then they end up paying the same amount. So we do individual meters when we go in just to make sure that it's fair for everybody else based on the usage of our clientele. And then ultimately, we will fix it up, raise the rents to market level, right? And then what we'll do is we'll refinance when the time is right. And when we refinance when the time is right, the investors get between 50 to 70% of their money back and still have just as much money in the deal. There's still cash flowing, right? But they have a lot less money in the deal now, and it's still cash flowing great. So that's one of the great things that we love doing. And when investors see their money come back and they still are invested, they're like, wait, I didn't lose any shares in the deal. I have just as much percentage ownership in the deal as I did before.
So, and I think that's one of the things that investors are really looking in whenever they try to invest their money. They don't really think about, the profit first, right? Their first thing is, how do I not lose money, right? They don't want to lose their money, so that's the first thing that comes to their mind. Now, what are your strategies in, making sure that your investors do not lose money?
Well, I don't want them to lose money. I don't want to lose money either, right? So because I'm also invested in the deal, we have a business plan when we first start off, and we carry out our business plan as good as we can or better, and with any investment there are risks, right? There are risks, and there's no doubt about that. But here's the thing, I promise our investors that we're going to do everything that we can to make sure that what we buy into not only doesn't lose money, but will make them money. That's ultimately the goal, and that's the business plan. You know, uh, Overall, investors have to be able to see what we do, not only trust us, but also know how to underwrite. I believe that when investors come in with us, they should know what the details are. We should be able to go over them with them what we plan to do with rents, right? With expenses, you see. So, I mean, in real estate, it's just don't spend more than you make. And then ultimately, you're going to have positive cash flow and a good NOI, which is the net operating income. And you're able to pay not only just the investors, but as operators, we'll be able to pay ourselves as well for operating the whole deal.
Right. And I guess this is the my final question, Alex. So, how did Zephyr Equity Group change your life?
Well, I think ever since we have formed a group, and it's all about relationships. When we started joining the Jake and Gino group and the MIH mastermind, what it has done for us on a real estate level is get to really meet a lot of people that are high level players in the real estate world. They're really learning, they're teaching us things, we're learning things, but they operate at a very, very high level. And that's what it has able to allowed us to do, is to be able to meet people who operate at such a high level so that we can learn from them, so that we can learn together. And the relationships that we have built on these seminars, on the masterminds, has just been phenomenal. And, people are so warm and welcoming as well. As a matter of fact, we're going to lunch or dinner with another investor this weekend, and they're working on the operator side just like we are as well. And we're going to go and talk about strategies, talk about and just build that relationship.
And the total experience, the education. I think that's really, one of the biggest wins as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's you can't do anything without first learning it first. That's the key thing.
Right. Okay. Well, thank you so much for all those information, Alex. And we are going to go ahead and do more of these videos to, somehow educate, inform our viewers on how they can be successful in investing when it comes to multifamily.
Rocky, thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye bye.